so-called holiday season, I see a lot of people running about spending money going broke for a pagan holiday that we weren't even supposed to be celebrating. But anyway, many of you are going to go about spending your money, getting behind on your bills to buy gifts for kids who probably don't even deserve no gifts this year because they've been bad as you know what. But anyway, I think you all should take the time to do a little bit of research on these holidays you call yourself celebrating. Would the Most High want us celebrating something so pagan and so devilish? He told us to learn not the way of the heathen, but it seems like we go out of our way to try to learn the ways of the heathen. Everything they put up before us, just because they run a commercial on TV for it, we go out and celebrate it. You know, I ain't never seen nothing so ignorant in my life as a black person celebrating the 4th of July. Do you know that during that time we were still in captivity, we were still slaves? And so that Independence Day had nothing to do with us and everything to do with the people that had your ancestors locked up like animals. So I think we need to, take a step back a little bit. I know we live in this land, okay? I know we live in this land, but you ain't free by no means, okay? Start to do some research on these days that you're celebrating, because you don't want to become
celebrate the holidays so bad, and every time you do, it brings you closer and bonds you to the enemy's spirit and desire to control you. You want to celebrate paganism, and that has absolutely nothing to do with Christianity. You can't find that Halloween in the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? So then what are you doing? You're in direct contradiction to what the Scripture says you're supposed to be doing by celebrating your open enemy's unholy days.
My brethren, be strong in the Most High, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand and withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, take the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High Yah.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1.
Shalom to the Set Apart family of the Most High Yah. Welcome to another Sword of the Spirit audio biblical teaching broadcast show. We are your hosts, the servants of Yah, and we greet you as always in the name of our Master, Yahshua HaMashiach, who has allowed us to see another day that he has created. So may we rejoice in this day and be glad in it. May Yah bless all of you who have joined us on today, those of you who acknowledge his word, who observe the word of his covenant, and who have also made the decision to forsake Satan's so-called holidays and to observe his set-apart day and his feast days, those that we can keep here. So with that being said, I'm going to bring in my co-host, Shabbat Shalom, sis. Shabbat Shalom. Prina, are you in? I'm not sure.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How are you today?
I'm good. Cannot complain. I'm good. Just grateful to be here again. As always, it's been a tough week, but, we want to rest in this day and not spend our time concentrating on all of the chaos that Satan brings on the other 6 days, and just dedicate it to Yah. So I'm just glad to be here today because there are many who laid down and did not wake up.
Yeah.
Many who were with us last Sabbath, and they're not here now. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we just sometimes in the midst of all, that's going on, we kind of just have to think, and this is the only way I keep my sanity is just thinking that he does do, and that is going right. So how are you feeling today?
I'm a little better. I felt like I was about to go under the weather. I, kind of slept it off. So I can't complain. I'm just glad that I have his breath of life in me, and that I was able to be able to come before our listeners today on the Sabbath without being sick. So I can honestly say that I feel good today.
Yeah. I was a little worried about that. I didn't know who I was going to get this morning.
Yeah, when you called me.
Yeah, because I think he was trying to work on both of us, so I had prayed, God, let's let this, whatever is trying to come on, just pray
let it go
so that we can get to, his business, our Father's.
Yes.
So I wanted to just make another brief announcement because there's some people who are still having issues with calling in. So, we made this announcement a couple of weeks ago. If Metro PCS is your phone or cell carrier, you will no longer be able to listen to our audio broadcast live unless you pay an additional $3 to do so. If you have the funds, if it's not going to hurt your pockets, and you would like to fellowship with us live, every Sabbath from 2 to 3:30 or whenever the show ends, then just feel free to call area code 877-289-6727 and just let them know that you would like to be able to call in and you would like to pay the extra $3. And then they're going to ask you when you call in, if you do have a Metro PCS cell, what is your 8-digit code? Most likely that is going to be your birthday. So, for example, if your birthday is January the 25th, 1970, then your 8-digit code would be 01251970. So I just wanted to make that announcement again because there was, someone who called me last week and they stated that they were unable to call in. So I just wanted to say, let me make this announcement again, because they missed the show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So just wanted to make that. And so if you know of someone who has a Metro phone and they may listen in or may want to make them privy to this information that we just shared with you. So that being said, let's get into today's 77th show, which is Learn Not the Way of the Heathen. And we know that Yah has commanded his chosen people to learn not the way of the heathens and the nations that are around them. But it seems as if his people are going out of their way to not only learn the ways of the heathen, but follow after their wicked ways. And the seduction of the church, in addition to them rejecting knowledge, but the seduction of the church is a major reason why our people have joined themselves to the customs and the traditions of the world, that which is not of our Father Yah and His Son Yahshua, because, when we were brought here, a majority of our people, the so-called African Americans and those people of color, are they're stuck in Christianity. Yeah. Okay? And we know the doctrine that they teach. We know the doctrine that they're hearing. Yah never told them to follow. Yahushua never told them to follow. But they rather remain in that, and as opposed to following His command to stay far away from the traditions and the customs of the heathen. So today's show, we're gonna, delve into why our people celebrate holidays. Why do we celebrate holidays? Why do we celebrate birthdays? Why do our people uphold and honor Sunday worship, forsaking the true Sabbath? And why do they think it's okay to eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, catfish, whatever it may be, those unclean foods that He told us to stay away from? Why do we cling to institutionalized religion? Why do we believe the erroneous, unscriptural doctrine that's out there? We believe in things that are unscriptural. Why do we cling to those things? Why do we ascribe to the religion of Christianity, Islam, and Egyptology, rather than just following the Bible as is? Why do we cling to this? Because, see, I want to make a disclaimer. When you tell people you're not a Christian, they think, oh, this person is an atheist, oh, they're in a cult. No, you're in the cult. Yeah. Because it's a religion, and He never came back to give us a religion. He gave us His word, and He told us to follow His word. So we believe in the Bible and the scriptures as they speak of Him, not pastor, but as the scriptures speak of Him from Genesis to Revelation, as well as those books that are mentioned in the scriptures that they took out. Yeah. Okay? We believe in His word. We believe in the Messiah. We believe in His death and His 3-day, third-day resurrection. We believe on Him as the scriptures speak of Him. But we have made the decision to walk away from those things that are not of Him. So because we choose not to follow those things that are unscriptural, because we choose not to follow the traditions and the customs of the world or man-made doctrine that do not align to Scripture, does not make us in a cult. If we're following the word, the same word that the majority of the Christians say that they're following, but they do nothing that is in it. So we need to really consider who's really in the cult. Yeah. Because you can't accuse us of following something that is not in the Bible. Don't look at us and look at the fools that are standing on the corner with the Ninja Turtle outfits and screaming and yelling and cursing people out and talking about hate the white man and they're the devil. And that's not who we are. Those fools are being paid to stand out there and act like clowns so that they can make the truth of Yah blaspheme before the other nations. Following His truth and following the scriptures is what He has called for us to do. He never came back to set up a new religion. The Messiah was not a Christian. The disciples were not Christians. The prophets were not Christians. Christianity is a new religion. Who were we before we came here? Yeah. Where did we learn all of these customs that the Most High said, learn not their way? That's what we're going to be addressing today. We're going to be revealing what were the ways of the heathen and why the Most High commanded His people to stay far away from these practices and the practices of these nations that are around them. And for the state of the body, panel discussion, today's topic is safe sex scriptural? We're going to be talking about so-called safe sex. Because we know we live in a world where fornication, adultery, underage sex is not only accepted, but it's endorsed by today's society.
Mm-hmm.
But as a believing parent, if you will say that you are a quote-unquote believer, you're a follower or a servant of the Most High, then what is your role as it pertains to teaching your children about sex and or sexual intercourse? What is safe sex? Does the Bible even mention sex education as the learning curriculum that we should be introducing our children to? Better yet, should believers or those who are following Yah, should we be teaching our children to put on a condom if they can't control themselves? Should we be doing that? So we have no special guest speaker. We hope to have one next week. We'll hopefully next week we will. Got to get more information, but this is what we're going to be discussing today. So with that being said, we will be right back. All right, so we are back. Before we get started, Prina,
yeah,
I would like to play a clip. And this clip is coming from the Preachers of Detroit.
Okay.
And there is a pastor who wants to come, who is invited to come to another local Detroit pastor, Pastor David Bullock here in Detroit. He invited another pastor to come and speak. I guess he was having some type of conference on sexual, I don't know if it was on sexual abstinence. And because this other pastor that he invited is a 50-year-old virgin, and he has abstained from sex because he is not married, okay? And so he invited him to come, to speak before the people, because he would be a good role model to come and stand before the people to show how he was able to keep himself. However, once he got up there and began to speak about abstinence and abstaining from sex until marriage, and then the pastor, Bullock he wasn't even up there. I don't even think he said a couple of sentences, literally, before he just shut him down.
Wow.
And began to pass out condoms. And say, oh, that's good what he told you, but if just in case you can't control yourself, in case you get one of them heated moments, then this is what you need to use. And he begins to pass out condoms. So let's listen to this clip, and then we'll come back and discuss it.
Okay.
You go to Pastor Bullock's church. Pastor Tim Alden is there, and some of the members are there for this sexual health Bible study. Pastor Bullock calls Pastor Tim up to speak, and I'm sitting here thinking that Pastor Tim is going to give like a good sermon, and it's going to be, very poignant and very heartfelt. And he gets up there and he's talking some good things about sexual health. A couple things he stated. He said, I am not asexual. I am not homosexual. I am a man, with those, with the same functions as everybody else. I just choose not to participate in that, which I thought was good. And, I was really into it because I'm like, man, you giving me some pointers. If you a 50-year-old virgin, and Pastor Bullock gets up and say, hey, let's thank God for Pastor Tim. And I'm like, the man didn't even get a paragraph out, and Pastor Bullock says to the congregation, I thank God for Pastor Tim and his testimony, but look here, I minister to real people who make mistakes. And, gosh, Pastor Bullock, that was not only was that was mean-spirited, that was arrogant, it was almost like, I don't know, that was narcissistic behavior. That's what that was. And to invite Pastor Tim to your church and then to treat him like that in front of your members who are obviously always going to have your back. And as you all saw during that this episode when he was saying those things, like I have real members who have real weaknesses. Some of the members were laughing and like nodding, like, yeah, you're telling us about this abstinence stuff. I can't do that. Another thing that I thought Bishop Bullock did that was very disrespectful was also in front of him and in the church. I mean, I had never seen that in my life. Somebody passing out condoms inside the sanctuary. That was the first for me. I was like, man, at least take it to the parking lot or the lobby, or that was just for me. That was kind of disrespectful. And Pastor Tim Alden was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Peace, I'm out of here, and he left. And
all right, Prina.
Yes, can you hear me, sis?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on what you just heard? I'll let you just jump right in.
Well, I mean, I was, just listening to it, and for this to happen where they supposed to, quote, unquote, get Yah's word was very appalling. It just shows that I don't even want to say the ignorance, but the lack of knowing who Yah is. And like he said, he was very arrogant and disrespectful in cutting them off because, he was coming to bring the word to the people that needed it, and for him to shut them down like that, well, we know in the churches anyway, most of them, they are not here to please, they not here to teach you the truth. They there to please the spirit. And as he said, the congregation was laughing and mocking and saying, what did he say? He dealing with real life issues or something. He was saying that I didn't catch.
He's dealing with real people making mistakes.
Real people making mistakes. Well,
they teach this because this is, the church has a reputation of being actually people in the church are some of the biggest fornicators that you meet. Mm-hmm. Some of the biggest fornicators, and what they say about the preacher's daughters are the poorest.
They the most loosest.
Yes.
Just jumping in, just getting into the topic, we are urged to be not conformed to this world, but to transform by renewing your mind and prove what is good and acceptable in the perfect will of Yah. And you can't do that if you are following what the world esteem as far as sex education, and parents, we are our children first teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You can't allow congregation, pastor, I don't care who it is, you have been given a duty by the Most High Yah to train up a child in the way they should go so when they get older they don't depart. That is your duty, and you have that right to lead your child two directions, the lake or toward salvation. And what you teach your child and what you put before him will mold that child when they become an adult. And, it is our duty to, if you are saying or claiming that you are serving the Most High, it is our duty to, not raise our children by the standards of the world, but, especially if you claiming to uphold Yah's law, because that's being double-minded. And when we know a double-minded person is not stable in, all their ways, and we know that the world standards is wicked, it hates Yah's laws, and is not going to lead them towards salvation. It's going to, all the world's teachings, all it does is feed the flesh and the desires of the flesh. And as parents, I know, Shaitan, because I was a young mom, you think to teach your kids about safe sex education because you don't want unwanted pregnancies, you don't want venereal diseases and different things, but is that what Yah's words say? What do he say about sex? And then, and sex is between a man and a woman who's married, in a covenant married. It's not even supposed to be done or, you know, or if you are not married. And so we have to mold our children with that mindset. And I think we get caught up in, well, you know, if we don't teach them, then they're going to go and astray, and they're going to embarrass us, and they're going to make us look bad. So if I give them this condom or birth control pill, or if I teach them to have safe sex, then these things won't be it might, you know, deter them from doing it, but you're condoning sin. And that's what you're giving them the consent to have sex. You know, I mean, you may not physically say go have sex, but you're contradicting. You're teaching them, you know, we're going to keep Yah's laws, but then when you get in your fleshly urge or you get caught up somewhere, then here, just put on a condom or, you know, or take this pill and, you know, and so you're contradicting what Yah's law says, and I think a lot of believers, I'm not saying all believers do this, but I think what believers do, they say they uphold Yah's laws, but then when it comes to certain subjects, they look for the world to and use how the world teach their children or
following the ways of the heathen. Really, I mean, they're learning.
It is.
Something I wanted to say briefly before you get too far. Something that you had said earlier. We were talking about, you know, teaching them safe sex. The only safe sex there is abstinence.
Yeah.
Abstinence is safe sex. There's no such thing as safe. That's like saying safely sinning. There's no safer sin. All transgression of the law is sin. So safe sex does not exist. Yah doesn't honor it. He never spoke of it. And he told you that if you are not, he said, Paul said it's better for you to marry than to burn.
Yeah.
So your body is your temple. When you are having sexual intercourse outside of marriage, you're sinning against your own soul. You're sinning against yourself. When you commit the other sins, you're sinning. But when you fornicate, you're sinning against your own self, against your own body, because your body is now the temple that the set-apart spirit of Yah resides. And he's not going to reside where sin is.
Yeah.
He's not going to. And if you're not repenting of it, if you don't have a heart that's truly seeking after Yah, and this is your way of life, and you continue to keep fornicating, and you have no remorse, you have to wonder, do you really have his spirit?
Yeah.
You know, because there is no such thing as safe sex. Abstinence is safe sex. We should not be passing out condoms to our children. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
Some of you may disagree. That's fine. My job and our job is to stand here today and to teach you the truth of what his word says. Our job is not to stand here and say, oh, well, just in case you get in that heated moment. You know, because what we look at as love is not love. Anybody can fornicate with you. Anybody can sleep with you.
Yeah.
But a person who truly cares about your salvation will wait. And if that person, male or female, is not willing to wait, then they are not worthy of your time, because when you are having sexual intercourse with a person, sexual intercourse is spiritual. You are becoming one with that person, and you wonder why many of you have stalkers after you sleep with a person and why they're in your bushes. You know, why they won't stop calling you after you slept with them. A lot of these guys, that's all they want. Once they get what they want, they're on to the next soul to destroy. They don't care, because they're not trying to make you their wife. Dating, you are only dating someone with the intentions of marriage. Because, and I want to talk about that briefly, because we talk about dating and it's loose. You know, dating somebody for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. What are you doing the whole time if you're not practicing abstinence? You are living in sin. You're fornicating. That's all you're doing. Well, I need to see if this going to work out. Okay, why are you saying my leg's going to be closed? Okay. That's how we going to see. You don't get to decide.
Yes.
You don't get to destroy my soul and put my salvation at risk while you need to see. You're not seeing anything. You can see just fine with my legs closed.
Yeah.
So if a man is not willing, or that woman, because there are women too, some of them are worse than the men. If they're not willing to wait, that means they don't love Yah. Or if they don't know him, they're not willing to get to know him and to know who he is. And so you cannot love a man that does not love Yah and is not willing to put Yah first is not going to put you first. So that marriage will be a fail. I know, because I was in it. Prina was in it.
Yes.
It's not going to work because they're interested in chasing after the things that are of this world, and you're after Yah and the desires and his will for your life. They're not interested in that. So if you're dating someone, that is with the intention of marriage. If you see right off the bat that this person is not about the word, now I'm going to use myself as an example, because sometimes Prina and I, we be very transparent on this show because you don't know who you're going to bless and who may need to hear this. But before my husband and I got married, he wasn't in the truth. I was. He was wild. He didn't know anything about who Yah was. He knew that he did not care for the church because he said it was just something that about it wasn't right. Okay, like many men, that's why they don't want to go to church, because they sitting in there seeing all the foolishness, and they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay? But when we met, and right off the bat, you have to let a person know who you are. If you're serving Yah, you cannot be ashamed of who you serve before men, because if you're ashamed of him before men, he said he's going to be ashamed of you before his Father. So you have to be willing to tell this person, this is who I am. When we first talked on the phone, we had a very strong connection. You know, we spoke for hours to the wee hours of the next morning, where we both had to just get dressed and go to work. Okay. But I'm like, during that time, I said, you know what? I know when I tell him who I am, that I serve Yah, that I don't go to church, that I keep the Sabbath, that I don't celebrate no holidays. You have to really think, it's a checklist.
Yeah.
It is a checklist.
Yeah.
Because basically you might as well just say, I have given up the world.
Yeah.
To serve the true power and the almighty one of the scriptures. And then you hit them with after all of that, and then you hit them with, I'm not sexually active, because I had not had sex in 5 years prior to meeting my husband. So at that time, he was also practicing abstinence as well. And I'm like, okay, we got that in common. But I'm like, okay, surely when I tell him I don't celebrate no holidays, and he's going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm out. Nope. So he was like, it was always something about that. I'm really not big on holidays. I'm like, okay. Then we go on to the next thing. I'm like, okay, this is where I know he's going to hang up. Or if he don't hang up if he don't hang up right away, then I know when we do hang up, I won't hear from him anymore.
Right.
And so when I tell him that I have, been, abstaining from sex, I said I'm waiting until I'm married, and I am not having sex outside of marriage. So not only when you first meet someone, you know that you're not getting married to them right away.
Yeah.
So the fact is, they have to be willing to wait and really love who you are as a person to even want to wait.
Yeah.
You got how long who was it that, was it Isaac that waited for Rachel? He didn't want Leah. He waited 14 years.
Yeah.
Because that's who he wanted.
Yeah.
He felt that she was worth the wait.
All through the
How many years will a guy wait for you? He won't wait 2 minutes before he on to the next chick, because he like, what do you hear women say? Well, if I don't give it up, he going to go on to the next chick. We hear this all the time. But my husband was like, no, I'm fine with that. And I'm like, what? Hold I had to call Prino on that one. I'm like, girl, I met this guy. We clicked. I told him about everything, and he's like, okay. So I'm like, well, time will tell. But don't think we didn't have no trying times, because when you love someone, you want to. We get it. I have those same emotions and feelings as everyone else. Okay.
Yeah.
But you want it when you are in love with a person. You want to express that love. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to, but we knew we couldn't. My love for Yah was greater than my love for my husband. If I love my husband more than I love Yah, I'm not worthy of being in the kingdom.
Yeah.
So Israel, and I'm talking to the children of Israel. Okay, so African Americans, fornication is big in Israel. We can talk about the law, the Torah, wearing tassels, the feast days, keeping the Sabbath. We got the look. We can speak Hebrew. But some of the biggest whores are in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I know, because I've had all these guys approach me, inbox me, shalom and all of this, let's study, yet they trying to get in your pants. They want to sleep with you. And not only me, I know plenty of other sisters who have shared the same stories with these men trying to sleep with you, but they look like they Hebrew, they act Hebrew, they very learned in the word, but they're sleeping around. And then they're going to tell you that sex is marriage. Ladies, do not fall for that. Sex does not constitute marriage. You better go back and listen to our previous shows. I'm talking to our ladies now who are in the truth, because nobody that's in Christianity is dumb enough. Even though they caught in a pagan religion, they're not. Even though they're caught in that, they have enough sense to know that sex is not marriage. Because if it was, then what is fornication then?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Paul say it's better for you to marry than to burn? If soon as you sleep with somebody, you're married to them. Come on now, wake up. I say all this to say, and I share my testimony and hope my husband's okay with me sharing it, because I just felt the need to do this, because if a person loves you, they're going to be willing. And he didn't know. And like I said, I was already deep in this word. He knew nothing about who Yah was, but he was willing to learn and willing to walk in his ways. He was working on the Sabbath, and then he stopped working on the Sabbath. He had to fight to stop working on the Sabbath, because I'm like, okay, he's a manager in retail, so they work on the weekends. I'm in education, so we're off. But he had, was having it out with his bosses, and he didn't quite understand at first. And like, well, this is what I do. I'm like, you cannot do this. Okay, we're going to pray. I didn't say quit your job, but we need to be praying and fasting and praying for Yah to move in the situation so you can quickly stop working on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
See, if it is in your heart and your desire to keep the Sabbath, Yah will make sure that he opens up a door for you. And that's what he did. He opened up a door where he's been able to keep it, and now he sees the blessing in it, looks forward to it. And once you start keeping the Sabbath, there is no going back. You don't even want to work on no job where you have to work. Mm-hmm. Now I'm getting all off into something else that don't have nothing to do with that. Hope you're okay, honey, with me sharing the testimony, but I had to do this. But hopefully this will bless someone. If someone loves you, they care about your soul.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to leave because you won't sleep with them, let them go. That they were not Yah's will for you. And I'm gonna let you jump back in because I'm going off.
And that goes with parents. We love our kids. So, and yes, you probably don't want to see them get caught up, but Yah's instructions should be enough.
Mhm.
Yah's instructions that you lead them should be enough. And if you love them as you would love your wife or your husband, you would lead them on the road towards salvation, not leading them to the lake. And that's what we have to remember first, to put, let's stop esteeming the worldly things, come out of her, my people, all the way. It's so many facets to the world, and that road is so broad, and that's why it leads people to destruction. You have to really, really, really denounce everything that is of the world and indulge yourself in Yah's word. Put yourself in Yah's word and train them up from Yah's word and Yah's word only, because His word is enough. And I don't know why we think we need some supplemental
sex education.
Right.
That's what we need. I'm glad that you said that. Yah's word is enough, because when you say it's not, well, we're going to teach His word, what His word say, but, you know, that's why, like, okay, I want you to come to my church, like Pastor Bullock, and speak on sex education, but in case, here's these condoms. And many people who set themselves up as sex educators have already violated Yah's law.
Yeah.
You don't, no one is more qualified to speak on the subject of safe sex but Yah Himself. Safe sex is sex that is within the context of marriage. That's it. A marriage between a man and a woman. And I gotta say that.
Yes, please do.
Okay. Not between Bob and Michael. Again, you know, everyone who's speaking out on this subject, they assume that it's all right for two consenting, because they're saying, well, they're consenting adults, you know. They have the right to engage in it. Yeah, you got the right to engage in it, just like you got the right. Y'all got the right to send you to the lake.
Yes. And you know, we can't be partakers of other men's sin. And when you are offering your child that shot from the doctor of birth control or the birth control pill or the condoms, or teaching them how to put on a condom or have safe sex, you are condoning sin. And when you know what's right and you fail to teach them what is right, it is sin for you. So, you know, not only are you sending your soul to the lake, but you have your children right there lined up next to you. You know, we need to stop. That's just like, you know, your child, you teach them about Yah's word and they end up pregnant. So now you want to get rid of the child because you don't want this sin to be shown among, you know, because you embarrassed.
Poor innocent baby.
And this innocent baby now is being aborted. You know.
Now you got sin on top of sin.
Yeah. Because you don't took them to the
murder.
Pay for it. You know, it's just, we have to, you know, our kids are, you know, we have to remember that if we instill Yah's laws, we have to continue to put it in their heart. Talk to them when they get up, when they go to sleep. Pray for them. You know, and we have to know that Yah's word is enough. And if you instill it in them and you uphold it in your house, they will think before they react. And sometimes we as parents put our kids in situations that cause them to sin, a.k.a. hanging out late nights, going on dates, you know, at a young age because they're in high school. You know, you put your own kids in sin. I was one of them parents, you know, being a friend. I wasn't a parent, you know, and then you wonder why your kid's falling off. No, because you was a friend. You wasn't that parent. You didn't stick to the, you know, I wasn't in the word, but I knew the word, and I was fornicating myself, so I couldn't, you know, see past that. But what I'm saying is, now that I'm in truth, and I repent of those sins, and I repent of the things that I've done, and, you know, you have to keep your kids in Yah's word and Yah's word only, and know that His word is enough. And His word, if you teach it to your kids, they would like with my grandchildren, when we talking and they know certain things like Halloween and stuff, like they tell me, my grandma, that ain't right, is it? And it was just so my grandson, he got crawled up in my bed last night, and he said he told his dad, my grandson is 5, he told his dad, he said, do you know Yah? And he said, yeah, I know Yah. He said, no, you don't know Yah. And I felt like, because he know that I know Yah and how what I teach him, but he know what his dad teach him or try to give him. He know that it don't equate to knowing Yah. And I was blown away when he told me, he said, Grandma, he said, my daddy don't know Yah.
Wow.
For him to even know the difference. For him to know the difference.
Because he was discerning, just like we talked about last week. To when you serve Yah, you can discern between righteousness and wickedness, and those who serve Yah versus those that don't. That's what we were talking about last week, when our last week's show, and you will once again discern. You will once again remember. That child at 5 years old was able to discern, because he is walking in the truth, that his dad wasn't. Only someone who's walking in the truth can even recognize another person that's not walking in truth. If you both I'm celebrating Christmas and I'm in the club and you in the club and celebrate Christmas, how you know if I'm in it or not? How do you know if I'm a servant of Yah or not? We both wicked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
One has to be in light and one has to be in darkness. If you're still in darkness, you cannot see. Only a person who is in the light can see.
Yes.
You can't see. I mean, that just like chilling, just even listening to that.
Yes, because it was chill. I mean, he didn't even mention like holidays or anything. He just said, Grandma, my dad said he know. I asked my dad, did he know Yah? He said yes, and I told him. I said, you told your dad he didn't know Yah? He said yes. I told my dad he didn't know Yah.
See, that was probably Yah speaking through him.
And I was like, wow, like I was blown away for him, you know, and you know, and it just those things, just talking to your grandchildren, talking to your children, you know, because I didn't get it right with my children. So I'm trying to get it right through my grandchildren, you know, so that they can get it right. You know, and I'm not saying that my children are turning their life around, but I'm just saying they have strongholds that I have put in place because of me and my parenting skills. And so when you are a parent, you are accountable for these souls that you have in place. And you know, a lot of times parents say, "Don't do as I say and not as I do," but they are looking, they are observing, they know. You know, you are their model, and they cherish you, and so they're gonna do as you do, whether you say don't do it or not.
Yeah, you can't say do as I say and not as I do, because they are watching everything, and not only your children, but everyone, your coworkers, family members and friends, and you tell them one thing, but they see you doing another thing. You are a hypocrite. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like to be called that, but that's what the scriptures call you. It's a hypocrite. Yeah. You can't say one thing and do another. What you say must align up with how you live your life. If you're saying one thing and your coworkers see you posting one thing on Facebook, but then when you get to work, they see you doing something different, they're like, are they going to take you serious? No. They're not going to take you serious. As it pertains to fornication, because I can get off real quick. Yeah. Again, sexual activity between a girlfriend and a boyfriend, okay, those who are not married, is fornication. Yeah. It's safe sex. Only safe sex is marriage. That's it. Yeah. He tells you in 1 Corinthians 6 and 18, he says, flee fornication, for every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. Yeah. He tells you that his will is for you to be sanctified, for you to be set apart, to abstain from fornication. That's part of the works of the flesh. Yeah. The works of the flesh is adultery and fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, all of it. Stay away from it. He said all those that do these things in Galatians 5:19 through 21, because I'm not going to read the whole thing. He said, but they who do those things, I'm going to read them, the things that he say, adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, emulation, strife, heresies, envyings, murders, being drunk, reveling, meaning out in the world, okay? He says those that do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yah. Yes, yes. You are not going to inherit it, and if you are consenting by giving your children condoms, do you want them to get pregnant? Do you want them to catch a sexual transmitted disease? No. But do you want to be held accountable when you stand before the Mashiach and he tells and he asks you, why did you give your daughter or why did you give your son consent to have sex, and you say, oh, no, I didn't. I told him what your word said. I told him it said free fornication. You said, but yeah, and then you turned right around and was double-minded and gave them some condoms. I tell my son what Yah's word said. I said sex is between a man and a woman. I said you are not supposed to be being intimate with anyone unless you are married to them, husband and wife. You have taken a marriage covenant. I have not mentioned anything about no condoms, and I'm not.
Yeah.
If he gets someone pregnant or if he catches something, that's going to be his consequences for not being obedient. Yah is going to hold me accountable, and I'm not going to have no blood on my hands because I'm contradicting myself. I can't tell him one thing, stay away from, don't have sex till you marry, and then hand out some condoms at the same time.
Yeah.
Any last words?
I just want to read 1 Thessalonians 4:3-5. It says, for this is the will of Yah, your sanctification, that you abstain from sexual immorality, that each one of you know how to control his own body in set-apartness and in honor, not in the passion of lust like the Gentiles who do not know Yah.
Yeah, those are the ones that are doing these things. The ones who are giving their children condoms are those who don't know Yah.
Yes.
When you know Yah, you're not doing that. When you know Yah, you know what pleases him. You have tested the spirit. You have found out what he approves of and does not approve of, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. You know the difference between clean and unclean, holy, unholy, or set apart and common. And they know what you know what his word says. So therefore, you're not going to teach something contrary.
Yeah.
You can't be double-minded. You're gonna have to make a choice. Either you're gonna tell them the truth of what his word says about this, or you just don't say anything at all. Don't say anything at all. But stop allowing the children, the television, the magazines, and Hollywood to raise your children. Because they're raising a bunch of covetous, idolater, fornicating children that are on their way to the lake with roller skates on.
Yeah. Yes, because this world does not love you, and going to the doctor, I was sharing with you how when they get a certain age, they go back by themselves, and then, you have to educate your children. And when they pass out that condom or ask you for the garden seal shot and all these things, you have to tell your children to say no. Because
I'm not giving you a safe way to sin. There's no such thing as safe sex, because when you do that, I'm going to give you the shot, so I'm going to give you the birth control pills, or I'm going to give you the condom. You're trying to give them a safe way to sin. Yeah. You're consenting to a safer way to sin. Well, I'm going to give you this, so when you do it, because I know, just like the pastor said, I'm dealing with people who have real feelings or whatever the case may be. As a servant and messenger of Yah, your job is to direct the people to what the word of Yah says. Yeah. It is not to stray off the path and to give your opinion and to train them up in the way the world say they should go. Yeah, yeah. The word has to be the barometer in which you measure right from wrong, and I don't care what they say on Teen Summit and all the other shows that they with sex education and teaching them how to put it on. My son will not be attending any sexual education courses because now they teaching them how to stick a dildo up somebody's behind in Virginia. No.
Crazy.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
Any last words? All right, so we are going to thank you, sis. We're going to get right into today's, feel like I already did the show. I wear myself out sometimes. I really do, because I'm so passionate about Yah, and I'm so passionate about His word, and I just love Him so much, and I love His word and His people, and all I try to do is just wake His people up. That's like my goal. When I wake up, I'm constantly at work now telling people about them. It's like They either receive it or they don't. I mean, I told one of the coworkers, that I share offices with, he said, I'm listening to you. He said, I'm listening. We talked for a long time about this week, and he was like, I'm listening. I talked to both of them. They were like, I'm listening. So we will see. But hey, it is what it is. Some people are going to hear it, and it's going to go in one ear and out the other. Mm-hmm. And then there may be others, you plant the seed, and it may take root a year or so from now. But right now, where we are in prophecy, we don't have that much time.
No, we don't even got a millisecond.
Yeah, this circus, this next couple of weeks, I'm telling you.
Yes.
We don't know what's getting ready to go down. I've been praying and, asking y'all for guidance because it's a lot going on. Got this threat from Russia. It's time. It's here. Yeah. So it's time for us to get our houses, and you better be ready. Not get ready, be ready. Because this is it. Like what Michael Jackson said, no, this is the real, this is it. Mm-hmm. So today's 77 show, again, is entitled Learn Not the Way of the Heathen. Even though we know Yah has commanded his people not to learn the way of the heathen, it seems as if they are going out of their way to not only learn the ways of the heathen, but to follow after their wicked traditions and customs. And, our people celebrate all the traditions of the world, birthdays, holidays, Christmas, Easter, Sunday worship, forsake the Sabbath. We eat all kind of unclean food, pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. We cling to institutionalized religion. We believe erroneous, unscriptural doctrine. We ascribe to religion. And we refuse to follow the Bible, even though we say that this is the book that we uphold. They tote it around as decorations, but this is not what they actually follow nor teach. Where did this come from? So I want to go to our scriptural verse. This is the theme for today's show, Learn Not the Heathen, coming from Jeremiah chapter 10 and 2, where it says, Hear the word which Yah speaks to you, O house of Israel. So says Yah. Learn not the way of the heathens, and do not be terrified at the signs of the heavens, for the nations were terrified at them. Now, we see Yah has commanded his people in Jeremiah 10 and 2 to not learn and follow after the ways of the heathens, the other nations around them. Yet every year we see millions of Negroes, the blacks in America, and those in other places that Yah has scattered them, but we see them put themselves in a tremendous amount of debt year after year, to fit in with the other heathen nations. And if you continue reading in Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 3 and 4, you'll find the scriptural command to not put up a Christmas tree, okay? But your average Christian pastor and the average so-called African-American will look right past Jeremiah chapter 10 and verses 4 and 5. They're going to look right past that scripture, and they're going to explain what the scripture is clearly speaking of as Christmas. They're going to explain it away with this foolery. Oh, well, that's not talking about no Christmas tree. So if Jeremiah chapter 10 verses 1 through 5 is not talking about the Christmas tree, then what is it talking about? So let us all, if you quickly can go to your Bibles and open it up to Jeremiah chapter 10. We're going to read verses 1 through 5. Hear the word which Yah speaks to you, O house of Israel. So says Yah, do not learn the way of the heathens, and do not be terrified at the signs of the heavens, for the nations were terrified at them. For the customs of the people are vain. So Yah, not only did he tell them not to learn their ways, but he says don't learn them because their customs, the traditions, their way of thinking, their way of doing the things, that how they live their life, he said it's vain. When something is vain, it's without real significance or value of importance. It's worthless. It's a waste of time. That's what he's basically saying. The things that they do are a waste of time. They're without real significant value. It's not important. But you try to tell that to the average Christian when they putting up their Christmas tree. They're going to tell you Jesus is the reason. But let's continue reading. For one cuts a tree out of the forest with the axe, the works of the hands of the craftsman. verse 4. They deck their trees. Some of your scriptures may say they adorn it, but they deck it, they adorn it, they dress it up with silver and gold. If this is not talking about the Christmas tree, then what tree are they talking about? What tree have you seen since you've been on this earth that people cut? Because I know a lot of people now, they don't want the fake trees. They want the real trees. They go and have it cut down. You know, these people go cut the trees. They go buy a real tree that's been axed, and you go and you bring it in your house, and you set it up. You erect this idol image up, okay, in honor of Tammuz. You deck this tree with silver and gold. They even got a song about it, okay? Decking your trees with silver and gold. You put all kind of dressings on it to adorn it, to make it look beautiful, and then you fasten the nails. They got the screws and stuff at the bottom so that it won't wobble. Is this not what verse 4 is saying? Come on now. But then they're going to tell you this is not talking about the Christmas tree. Verse 5, they are upright as the palm tree. They cannot speak. Carrying, they must be carried. That's what you got. You got to carry that Christmas tree in. That's an idol. It doesn't carry itself in. It says because it cannot walk. But Yah says, do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do good. But they'll read that. When I cried out to Yah and I found out about this, the first time I read Jeremiah 10, I was so upset. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I've been in church all my life. And I get in my 30s and I find out that I have been dishonoring my father. This Christmas tree been in the Bible the whole time. And your Christian pastor's got a big old tree. They can have a big tree erected right up in the foyer when you come into church. But they're going to tell you Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 1 through 5 is not talking about a Christmas tree. The precept to Jeremiah chapter 10 and 2 is coming from Leviticus chapter 20 and 23. Leviticus 20 and 23 reads, and you shall not walk in the manner of the nations. Jeremiah 10 and 2 says, learn not the way of the heathens. And the heathen is another word for nations. And the precept is coming from Leviticus 20 and 23. You shall not walk in the manner of the nations. You shall not walk and live your life the way that the other nations live theirs. He says, which I cast out before you. Why? He says, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhor them. He said, I hate them. I hate them because of the way that they live their life, the things that they do. I don't want you doing that. You are supposed to be set apart. Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 1 through 5, that's your Christmas tree. I don't care what Pastor Porkchop's telling you. He's telling a lie because he wants you to keep coming, giving them tithes. 1 Samuel chapter 7 and 3 is mentioning Asherah, which is Easter. What does Yah say about Asherah or Estar or Isis? 1 Samuel 7 and 3. And Samuel spoke unto all the house of Israel, saying, if you do return unto the Most High with all your heart, then put away the strange gods and Asherah from you. So he said, look, if you're going to return, if you're going to come back to Yah with all your heart, he says you're going to have to put away these strange gods. You're going to have to put away Asherah. You're going to have to put Asherah, Istar, Asherah, Isis. It's all the same. Different nations renamed this same God, different names, all similar, different spellings. That's Easter. So-called African-American children of Israel, those who say that you want to, if you're a stranger or a Gentile who want to take hold to the covenant, in order to return, because return means you must have been here, that you must have been familiar with how to serve the God of Israel, the power and Most High Almighty One. At one point in time, if you listen to last week's show, we knew who we were. He said one day you will again discern, meaning you will one day remember. You will one day know the difference between clean and unclean. And you will be able to discern and make a distinction between those who serve Yah and those that don't. But he said that's only going to happen when you turn away from your idolatry, when you stop whoring and committing adultery. That's the only way you're going to be able to say, wow, when I didn't know I was doing that until I came out. Then when I came out, I was able to understand, wow, I really had no idea what I was in. But he says if you want to serve me in 1 Samuel 7:3 and you want to return to me, because our forefathers made the covenant, we knew who our power was. We served them with all our hearts at one time, and then they turned away to strange gods, and they wouldn't stop it. So that's how we ended up over here in America. This was our punishment. Like I said on Facebook, they don't care about telling you that you were slaves, but they will not tell you that slavery was your punishment for breaking the everlasting covenant. They're not going to tell you that, because then you're going to go read the Bible and find out what you got to do to reverse this. But he said, put away the strange gods and Esther. Put away Easter. You're going to have to put away Easter. That's what he's telling you. He says, put away Easter from among you and prepare your hearts for Yah. He said, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the land. He's not going to deliver you out of the hands of those that are oppressing us over here in this country until we repent and turn from our wicked ways. Until we put away Christmas that he's talking about in Jeremiah chapter 10, 1-5, till we put away Easter that he's talking about not only in 1 Samuel 7:3, but many other scriptures. This pagan god is also known as the Queen of Heaven. Halloween, you getting ready to celebrate that. He has nothing to do with that. He told you to stay away from all appearances of evil, but you getting ready to dress your children up to celebrate Easter, celebrate Halloween, to glorify Satan, to highly esteem that which is that the Satanists regard as the second highest holiday, right behind birthday, which is number one. And then they gonna be on Christmas serving Jesus and shaking the tambourine in church tomorrow when they just got finished celebrating Satan. Halloween is blatant hypocrisy. Some of the biggest hypocrites are sitting right up in church. They say one thing, but they're doing something different. This is what the whole religion of Christianity is about. It's a pagan religion. I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm not talking about the Most High and his Son. I'm talking about the religion that lives contrary to the same book that they claim to crack open every Sunday. What they don't realize is that when you're celebrating these holidays, is that the damage that you're doing is twofolded. First, you're whoring and committing adultery against Yah. You're breaking the first and second commandment, the one whom you made the covenant with. And then second, you're also yielding your spirit to the adversary and those demons that you're honoring. You're forsaking Yah's covenant, therefore you're making a covenant with death. Yah told us in Amos 5:21, he said, I despise your feast days. He said, and I will not smell your solemn assemblies. You can celebrate Christmas. You can gather on Thanksgiving. You can have all the ham, all the abominable food. You can sit there and pray over pork. You can sit there and gather and say he is the reason for the season. All you like. But he has told you in Amos 5:21 that I despise your feast days. I don't want your freaking holidays. He said, I hate your holidays. He said, I will not smell you in these solemn assemblies. You can assemble all you want on church on New Year's Eve. He's not there. He's not there on Easter Sunday and sunrise service. He's not there. He's not there. So as it pertains to the Most High's chosen people, they were told over and over again to be set apart. I can't sit up and do a lesson every week who are the children of Israel. I've done it over and over. So-called African American, the blacks, you're the people. Everybody is not in the same tribe. You're his chosen people. This is the biggest secret. I said earlier in the week, this is the biggest secret on the planet, is who the children of Israel are. When you were told to be set apart, he commanded you to learn not the way of the heathens. Don't follow after the other nations that are around you. Don't do the things they do and say you're doing it unto me. He says you shall not do so to the Most High, your power. So to be set apart, when they talk about holidays, Holi, H-O-L-I, means burning days. To be what they call holy means to be set apart, to be separate. So if you're not honoring or celebrating or partaking in a day, if you're not celebrating or honoring or partaking in a day that is set apart to Yah, then, because we know surely Yah is not the originator of Halloween and these other pagan holidays that he has strictly commanded us to stay away from. So who are you keeping this Halloween? Who are you keeping Halloween set apart to? Who are you keeping these pagan holidays and birthdays and all these things that our people refuse to give up? Who are you keeping these pagan days set apart to? If Yah has nothing to do with it, if it's not scriptural, if it's not in the Bible, he has not commanded you. He has commanded us to keep his feast days and his Sabbath. But we won't do that. But we love to run after these pagan holidays, don't we? We love to run after them. We love it. But you're committing adultery and whoredom. That's why I said that it's two-folded. You're committing adultery and whoredom to Yah, and you're guilty and making yourself set apart to Satan. You're setting yourself apart to Satan. And when you're allowing your children to celebrate Halloween, you're allowing them to be passed through the fire. You're spiritually sacrificing your children to demons. The same thing our children were doing in Israel. So with that being said, these times we're in, they're extremely troubling for the so-called African American, the nation of Israel. And to me, it appears as if it's just getting worse and worse. No matter how much they march, no matter how many times they protest, how many times they vote, okay, whine to their oppressors, they still foolishly think that they're going to save them. Unfortunately, tragedy after tragedy continues to plague the so-called African American, those that are here and those who have been scattered around the world. And we're almost like in a time now where even our oppressors and those who are afflicting us, they're putting the truth right in our faces year after year. Cartoons, movies, television shows. I even had some of them tell us directly who you are, and we still talking about I'm the Gentiles. Most still have no answers or explanation. Pastor don't have no answer or explanation for why all these horrible things keep happening to us. Why does everybody hate us? Why are we the only nation of people that seem to be getting afflicted? Why are they killing our brothers and our sisters, our sons and our daughters, leaving them dead, blood spilling and screaming to Yah from the ground, and nothing is done? No one has no explanation besides calling Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton cool behind, whining to the oppressors, candlelight vigils, marching, protesting, and voting and thinking, one day we're going to find somebody who's going to care about our afflictions. Y'all said that nobody was going to care. No one has an answer or explanation for why all these horrible things keep happening to pretty much us. We're the specific group of people that these things keep happening to, and Pastor has no idea what's going on and why, even though it's right there in the scriptures. But because the law is done away with, he has no knowledge, no wisdom, and no understanding. He's not fit to lead. How can you oversee something when you're blind? hear what the scriptures has to say about why these people are continuously plagued with calamity after calamity, and more importantly, why Yah himself is allowing it to happen and will do nothing to stop it. Last week we delved heavily into Deuteronomy 28. We've read this to death. I'm going to read it over and over. Deuteronomy 28, I can say it over and over again. He said you're going to constantly be afflicted and oppressed. He said no one was going to save you in Deuteronomy 28:29. He said because you didn't love and serve me with joy and gladness that you're going to go and serve your oppressors, that they're going to afflict you and oppress you day and night. And he said no one was going to save you. But I'm going to read Deuteronomy. If you can quickly go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. I'm going to read verses 4 through 9, and then I'm going to read verses 40. Deuteronomy chapter 4, and I'm beginning with verse 4. And those of you clinging to Yah, your power, are alive today, all of you. So he's talking to the children of Israel. He says, see, I have taught you statutes and ordinances, as Yah, my power, has commanded me to do them in the midst of the land where you are going in. He said to possess it. Verse 6. And you shall keep and do them, for it shall be your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the people who hear all these statutes. So we see that the Torah and its commandments, that's your wisdom, that's your understanding. But because our people are being taught that the law is done away with and they believe it and they adhere to it and cling to that fact, that's why our people have no wisdom, no understanding, no discernment, and hence is the reason why they cannot distinguish between those who serve Yah and those who do not. That which is set apart from that which is common. They can't do it. This is why. But it says, and you shall keep and do them, verse 6, and it shall be your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the people who hear all these statutes. And they shall say, this great nation is a people wise and understanding. See, they were supposed to look upon us because we were keeping Yah's commandments. We would be so blessed that all the other nations around us would look at us and look at us and say, wow, look at how wise and understanding. Look how great these nation of people are. But are they saying that about the so-called African Americans? They're looking at us and like, wow, look at you. They're shaking their heads like you say you will be a shaking of the head among the other people. They look at us and say, look how far you have fallen. They're not looking at us and esteeming us and saying we're a great nation who are wise and understanding. They're saying these are some of the dumbest people on the planet. So let's go to verse 7. For who is a great nation whose power is coming near to them, as Yah your Most High is, and all are calling on him? And who is a great nation whose statutes and judgments are as righteous as all the Torah, which I set before you today? Only be on guard for yourself and keep your soul carefully. He says this is how you keep your soul. How? That you do not forget the things which your eyes have seen, and that they do not depart from your heart all the days of your life. And then there is a command, and this is what Prina and I was saying earlier. And you shall make them known to your sons and your sons' sons. And Yah has taken you and has brought you forth out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be a people unto himself, an inheritance, as it is this day. So we are Yah's inheritance. We are a people to him that he has taken to himself. That's why he told you he polluted his own inheritance, because we wouldn't stop whoring. We're his inheritance. We are commanded to make the Torah and the law known to our sons and our sons' sons. Our children should know who Yah is. They should know who he is. They should begin to be able to quote his scripture. You should be instilling and investing Yah's word into your children? What are you putting in your children? Are you putting in garbage? Are you putting in Lil Wayne and Drake and Beyonce, the doctrines of demons? Do you sit down with your children and read the word to them and tell them what Yah's word says? Do you teach them the truth about these wicked holidays? Or do you put on a Halloween costume and dress them up and you go along with the status quo, what the world is saying, because you worried about how your child is going to feel if they can't be a part of what everybody else is doing? Do you just sit up there and still have birthday parties after you have been shown that it's witchcraft and idolatry and that it's the number one holiday for Satanists? I don't even let people call my son and say happy birthday. That's the same thing as saying Merry Christmas. I don't want him to even begin to think that he's missing something because I'm teaching him the truth. I don't want him to be sorrowful over the fact that he cannot partake in the world's wickedness. We got to learn how to pull out those things that are not of Yah. It is not a sad thing that your child cannot have a birthday party or cannot have Christmas gifts or have them buy birthday presents or can't partake in Christmas and Halloween and Easter and all these things and can't go trick-or-treating. My son doesn't miss it. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even want to even see all of this. He's like, Mommy, I can't wait till this is all over. I can't wait till this Halloween stuff. I'm sick of these commercials. He turns the television. He said they're trying to do stuff in school. But his teachers, I've already alerted them. I don't want him doing no Halloween activities, no Halloween worksheets, nothing. That has to do with it. He had some writing assignment where they were having the children write about aliens. I said, my son will not be writing about no aliens because that's demons. There's no such thing as aliens. And the teacher changed it where he write about humans. So you have to be the one, as Prina said earlier, to be that changing agent in your child's life, to teach them the truth so that they know what the truth is. My son goes to school, he tells his teachers. He doesn't pledge allegiance to the flag. He knows the truth. So you have to, do you trust, as Prina said, do you trust that Yah's word is enough? Do you not know his sustaining power? Do you not believe and trust in that his word is enough? Or are you just like the Christian churches where they believe they got to put on a lot of theatrics and mime and do all of this just to entertain people to keep them there? Because his word is not enough. Just coming and hearing the word is not enough. You got to have the entertainment to go along with it. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 40. And you shall keep his statutes and his commandments, which I am commanding you today, so that it may be well with you and with your sons after you, and so that you may prolong your days on the earth, which Yah, our power, is giving to you all the days. So here we were commanded to keep his statutes, his commandments, so that it will be well with you, and not only you, but your sons and your daughters after you, that your days may be prolonged. Our children and our families and our loved ones who may not be in the truth are so far in adultery that it's not even funny. It's worse than it's ever been. It's worse than it's ever been. So it's no wonder that you see the Sandra Blands, the Mike Browns, the Trayvon Martins, and it's just with so many. I can't even begin to even think of all of our brethren that we have seen young, slain, falling to the ground, nothing being done. Still no reparation, still no restitution, no matter how many times they fought, they protested, marched, and then, had people, all these fake celebrities coming on TV trying to act like they concerned about your plight and, get out of here. All of that stuff has been in vain. Nothing has happened. After the hype calms down, we are still slaves. Nothing has been done. Jesse Williams got y'all all hyped up with that speech. What has happened since then? Now they on to the next thing or whatever is going on. All of those things are just distractions. to keep you distracted from Yah's word, to get caught up in the hype, thing. And we got people that's real good in getting you caught up in the hype. But are they directing you back to the commandments? Because, see, I would have loved for him to stand up there on BET Wars and quote Deuteronomy 4:4. Read Jeremiah chapter 10. Read all the scriptures that tell us to return. Get up there and read Deuteronomy 28, Jesse Williams. That's what, they're not going to do that. They don't care about having Jesse Williams and all these celebrities stand up there and tell you were slaves and all of that. They're not going to tell you, did he tell you that you was a slave and that all of this stuff is happening because this was your punishment because you won't repent and turn back to his ways? Did he read 2 Chronicles 7:14? No. Because they're not going to allow them to do that. Deuteronomy chapter 13:4 says, you shall walk after Yah your power, and you shall fear him, and you shall keep his commandments, and you shall hear his voice, and you shall serve him, and you shall cleave to him. This is another one. We're trying to find out why. Why is it that there's no answer? Why is all of this happening? I'm reading to you. Ezekiel chapter 23, verses 27 through 30 and verse 35. Ezekiel 23, verse 27 says, and I will cause, and this is Yah talking to the children of Israel. He says, I will cause your wickedness to cease from you and your fornication from the land of Egypt. He says, and you shall not lift up your eyes to them, and Egypt shall not be remembered by you anymore. For so says the Most High Yah, behold, I will give you into the hand of those that you hate, into the hand of whom your soul was alienated from. And they shall deal with you in hatred, and take all your labor, and shall leave you naked and bare. And the nakedness of your adulteries will be bared, even your lewdness and your fornications. These will be done to you because you have whored after the nations, because you are defiled with idols. So he says this is going to be done. In Ezekiel 23, verse 30, he says all of this is going to be done. All the stuff that has been happening to us, so-called African Americans, children of Israel, wake up. Your answer is in Ezekiel 23:30. He said all of this is going to be done because you have whored after the nations, because you are defiled with idols. This is why. This is your answer. This is not what pastor's going to tell you. They're not going to put this on BET. Verse 35, therefore the Most High Yah says this, because you have forgotten me and cast me behind your back, he says, so also will you bear your wickedness and your adultery. So he says, you've forgotten about me. Because you have forgotten about me and you have cast me behind your back. You have cast my law behind your back. If you are casting the law of Yah, the Torah, behind your back, you are casting Yah behind your back, because he and his word and his spirit is one. He is his law. Yahshua is the word. So because you have forgotten about him and you cast him behind your back, you cast the Torah behind your back. Christianity has cast Yah behind their backs because they say that his law is done away with. So because of that, he says you're going to bear your wickedness and your adulteries. He says deal with it. I'm not doing nothing. This is what's happening. If you read in Ezekiel 23, if you read a little further up, he talks about she's fornicated and lusted after her lovers. You're lusting after your lovers. You cast the law of Yah behind your back, and you're going to whoring and lusting after the lovers of the nations and the heathens that he told you to stay away from, and do not learn their ways, and do not follow after the manner of their customs and traditions, and you won't listen. So Ezekiel 23 is basically showing how unfaithful both the house of Israel and the house of Judah were, all 12 tribes, and how they continue to seek after the corrupt pagan nations all around them instead of seeking Yah. And these nations that they're seeking after, running after, these very nations whom they have sought to make an alliance with, are going to be the same ones that seek to destroy them. They're doing it now. Psalms 106, verse 35 through 46. Psalms 106, verse 35 through 46. Verse 35 reads, that we're mixed with the nations, and we, the children of Israel, not only mixed with the nations, but we learn their works. The same works that he told us in Jeremiah 10 and 2, learn not the ways of the heathen nations. He tells us in Psalms 106 and 35 that when we mixed in with these other nations, that we learn their works. In verse 36, it says, and they served their idols, and they became a snare to them. Something that is a snare to you is something that hinders, something that stops you from progressing, something that causes you to stumble. Verse 37, yes, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters to the demons, and they shed innocent blood, and the blood of their sons and of their daughters whom they sacrificed to the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with the blood, and they were unclean with their works, and went whoring in their acts. They went whoring after the acts and the ways and the things of the nations that he said and commanded us not to learn. So verse 40, it says, the anger of Yah burned against his people, the children of Israel. And then it says that he detested his inheritance. He detested. That means he hated his inheritance. The precept to that is Deuteronomy 4 and 20. Because he said that we were his inheritance in Deuteronomy 4 and 20. But we see in Psalms 106, verse 40, that because we wouldn't stop whoring, and we allowed the other nations that he told us not to learn their works from, that he began to detest us. Verse 41, Psalms 106, verse 41. And he gave them into the hand of the nations. So he said, you know what? Since you don't want to serve me with joy and gladness, like you said in Deuteronomy 28, here, I'm going to give you over to these nations. Those who hated you, he says, are going to rule over you. In Psalms 106, verse 41. And their enemies did what? The same thing that Deuteronomy 28 said. They oppressed them. And they were humbled under their hand. We have been humbled under the hands of our oppressors since we've been brought over here. Verse 43. Many times he delivered them, but they rebelled in their plans and sank further into their iniquities. What does that mean? They sank further in their sins. Iniquity is sins and lawlessness. Verse 44. And he looked. Yah looked on their afflictions when he heard, just like children of Israel, every time they got into sin, he turned his face against them. Then they would cry out. Then he would turn back to them because he loves them. But then he says he remembered in verse 45 the covenant for them. And then look here at verse 45. But let's go back to 44. When Yah looked on their afflictions and when he heard their shout, he remembered his covenant with them and breathed a sigh according to his many mercies. And he gave to them tender mercies before all their captors. See, this is what he did. Just like a child, you continue to tell them what to do. They're not listening. You turn your back away. You say, okay, you know what? They cry, oh, Mom, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And you say, you know, you love your child. They look at you with those puppy dog eyes. And this is Yah saying right here. Psalms 106:44. He breathes a sigh like, oh, these my people. And then he delivers us. But you know what? That's not happening right now. That was before. Before he shipped our butts over here, per Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, on ships. Y'all got tired of sighing and continuing to show mercy over and over. You know what? Now it's time for them to get spanked up. This is what's happening. Slavery and the affliction and the oppression and what is happening to our people today, and why all the other nations' eyes are sore towards us, is our punishment. He has handed us over to the nation of those that hate us because we didn't want to serve him with joy and gladness. Psalms 107, verses 10 through 14. Those who live in darkness and in the shadow of death, we know that we are them, or they, who live in darkness and in the shadow of death. We're in the shadow of death. Every time we celebrate Christmas, Easter, Halloween, fornicating, eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, celebrating birth, doing all these things that he said, learn not the way of, we are living in the shadow of death. We're playing the let's wait and see game. Well, I'm not ready. I got to see. How much time you think we got? I'm seeing people, brothers and sisters, leaving out of here left and right. Young people. How much time do you think you got? But he says you are a prisoner in affliction and iron. We know that this is us. Why? Psalms 107, verse 11. Because they rebelled against the word of Yah and despised the counsel of the Most High. I mean, they didn't want to listen. How many times you go to somebody with the word and the truth and they don't want to listen? So verse 12, it says, and he humbled their heart by toil. This is why we have it so hard. We have it harder than any other people. He has humbled our heart by toil. He says they stumbled and none were helping. Who is helping us? Nobody is helping us. They're not helping us. Verse 13, and they cried to Yah in their distress. He saved them out of their distresses. He brought them out from darkness and the shadow of death. How did he bring us out of darkness from the shadow of death? We're going to keep reading. And he broke their bonds apart. This one, I read this, Psalms 107, verse 14. I was like, wow. Because when he brought us out of darkness, when you say he brought me out of darkness into his marvelous light, he brought me out of the shadow of death. He pulled me from the clutches of Satan and from hell. I was on my way to hell. I was without hope. Who were we without hope from? Who? Until who came were we without hope? Until he sent his son. Until Yahuwah sent Yahushua. His salvation, the salvation of Yah, his son. He delivered us out of darkness and the shadow of death through the shed blood of his only begotten son that he sent only, and I'm saying only because that's what the word says. Don't call me no racist because I'm reading the same Bible you're reading. He says, I come not but for who? The lost tribe of the house of Israel. He was sent not unto, but the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He was sent not, but unto us, not except only to us. That's who he was sent to. That's not to say that any other nation cannot be saved. That's not what I'm saying. But he died for us, and he was sent for us. And those strangers and Gentile nations, non-Israelite nations that take hold to the covenant and recognize who the people are and serve the Almighty One of Israel has the right to everlasting life. But we have to read what the word says. He said, I was sent not except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's who he was sent to. He was sent to bring us out from darkness and the shadow of death. And that is what Yahshua did. He was a deliverer to those who were hidden in prison houses, those who were hidden in darkness. This is why I do not go to a pagan church when someone who is still in Christianity invites me. I have people who are loving people, some of the sweetest people on the planet, who just don't know. And they say, you know what, why don't you come to my church on Sunday? I have to nicely decline because he don't brought me out. I can't go back in there. Only way I'm going back into a Christian church is if the pastor going to let me stand up there and preach. Otherwise, I can't go back. What am I going back? I can't go back to a pagan church when if someone that is in a church invites you to go, it doesn't matter how close you are. My dad, before he passed, invited me several times to go to his church. I have family members ask me, can you come to my church? I have people who I know and work with, can you come to my church? Because they saw the Spirit of Yah moving on me, and they knew that I was a woman of the Most High, and they were like, can you come to my church? My pastor's a good pastor. Come to my church. And I have to nicely decline. You know why? I'm getting ready to read Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 5. Quickly go to Deuteronomy chapter 13, 1 through 5. And actually, I'm going to read through verse 10. Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 10. Deuteronomy 13, verse 1. This is why I have to decline, and why you who are listening, and somebody, I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your sister, brother, cousin, whoever it is, long friend, if they invite you to come back into a pagan Christian church, you must tell them no, and this is the reason why. Because we already know the gods that they're serving in there is not the God of the Bible. They're not teaching you the truth. So this is why. Deuteronomy 13, Torah tells you can't. This is what it says, Deuteronomy 13 and 1. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams rises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder which he spoke to you occurs, saying, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve them, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or the dreamer of dreams, for Yah, your Most High, is testing you. He's testing you to know if you love Yah, your power, with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after Yah, your power, and you shall fear him. You shall keep his commandments, and you shall hear his voice, and you shall serve him, and you shall cleave to him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall die, because he has spoken apostasy against Yah. He has redeemed you out of the house of slaves, only to drive you out of the way in which Yah, your power, has commanded you to walk. So many of you say, oh, well, my pastor, I know he a pastor because he has laid hands on people. He's healed the sick. He's done this. He's shown many works. You think he has some power, and you seen him do things. Okay, he laying on people's hands. You think he's slaying in spirit? That's demonic. So I know he got power, and he said things and it's come true, but then he says, come over here and let's serve another God. That was all in a way. See, Satan has many wonders and signs too, just like they did with Pharaoh. Okay? And his magicians. A lot of times, y'all will allow it, okay, because some of you are going to destroy yourself with your vanity. Okay? He says all of this sometimes, and Yah will allow it to test you to see if you love Yah and if you're going to go after other gods, because he allowed it to happen, and you think, oh, what they said came true. But then now, because you think pastor has shown you something or some power, now when he say, let's go serve another God, you going because you think he got some power. But he is leading you out of the way in which Yah, your power, has commanded you to walk. And you shall put away evil from you or from your midst. You leave this church. You leave this pastor. You stop listening to these false teachers and false prophets. Deuteronomy 13:6. Here is what I was just saying. Why I will not go to a pagan church if somebody invite me. It doesn't care how close I am. Verse 6 tells you why. Deuteronomy 13:6. If your brother, your mother's son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own soul, shall entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods which you have not known, you and your fathers, of the God of the people around you, those near or far off from you, from one end of the earth even to the other end of the earth. He says in verse 8, you shall not consent to him, nor listen to him, nor shall your eyes have pity on him, nor shall you spare or hide him, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first upon him to cause him to die, and the hand of all the people last. You shall stone him with stones, and he shall die, for he has sought to drive you out from Yah, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slaves. What am I saying? Can't we go and stone somebody and kill somebody today for inviting us to a pagan church? No. But this was the law when they were in the land. We know that in Christianity, they're serving Jesus. We know that it's Caesar Borgia, Zeus, a pagan god. They're not serving the Messiah, okay, our Messiah of the Bible. They're serving another god. They don't, a majority of them don't even know that. His name was never Jesus. His name was Yahshua or Yahushua, which means Yah salvation or the salvation of Yah. He was a Hebrew. There is no letter J in the Hebrew, Latin, or Aramaic. The letter J was only 500 years old, and it's the last letter of the English alphabet. Our Mashiach has been dead for over 2,000 years, so it is no way that his name could have been Jesus. I'm not getting ready to give you no lesson on that, but that is not his name. He said, I come in my Father's name. Jesus does not come in the name of Yah or Yahuwah. Yahushua or Yeshua does. So the gods that they're serving in Christianity, they're serving Caesar Borgia. Okay, they got a picture of a white man with blonde hair, with blue eyes, that's hanging up on in their churches, Caesar Borgia. That's who they're serving. They're serving Zeus. They're serving the Lord, who is Baal, the Canaanite god or deity. They're serving Tammuz because they celebrate Christmas, and Ishtar and Isis because they're celebrating Easter. They're serving the Queen of Heaven because they honor birthdays. I could go on and on. I don't have enough time in this show to name all the pagan gods that they serve in Christianity, most of them unknowingly because they cannot discern, because they won't turn away from their idolatry. That's why he says no man comes to the Father but through me. Many of you are not being drawn because he already knows in his heart that when truth comes to you, you're going to reject it because you love lies. That's why many of them are under a spell. They're under a spell. They are under the strong delusion that Yah himself is sending against them because they do not want the truth. He said this is a stiff-necked generation. The so-called African-American, the children of Israel, are stubborn and stiff-necked. They who will not hear the law of the Most High. And he says those who won't hear his law, even your prayers are an abomination. So stop praying to him if you believe the law is done away with, because he said your prayers are an abomination if you turn your ear away from hearing the law. You're wasting your time praying to him because it's not going no further than the ceiling. I found this clip, and I have two powerful clips that I want to play. One, this first one, on why we need not learn the way of the heathens, and we're going to come right back. But this is really good.
You go see this pastor. The choir.
And I want to make one disclaimer. This person, I guess he got a little excited. There is profanity used one time, so I do want to apologize at first, but just please listen to this message. It's very powerful.
You go see this pastor. The choir's singing. You got problems in your life, but they're singing, talking about praise the Lord. You're giving your money. You got bills to pay, mind you. You don't got no food to eat. Your kids need some shoes. Some of you, your kids don't even have a mattress to sleep on. But you give your money to this pastor who, if you actually went to him and said, yo, kind of behind on my bills, I need some money. Could you give me $3,000 so I can catch back up, do what I need to do? He's going to look at you. He's going to tell you you need to pray more. And the reason why you're going through what you're going through is because you haven't been tithing or coming to church like an active member should. 2015, and people are still enslaved to an institution that is controlled by the government. You see, how do you know you're in the wrong place in terms of being in the Christian church? How do you know you're in the wrong place? Number one, is your pastor teaching you from the Bible who are the biblical Israelites according to Scripture? If your pastor is not teaching you this, if your pastor is not going through the Scriptures and showing you line upon line, precept upon precept, who are the biblical Israelites? Now, I know some of you are very emotional. You love the church atmosphere. You like the carpet. You like the choir band. You like getting your emotions stimulated in these churches because they make you feel good when you go. I understand all of that. But at the same time, you're not growing. You think you're spiritual, but you're actually stupid. That's what churches does to people. It makes them stupid. It desensitizes their mind to what's really going on in reality. It makes you think because you're a part of this church that you're untouchable and life cannot do nothing to you. When the truth is told, the majority, the institution of Christianity has brainwashed you. It caused you to think that everything outside of Christianity is wrong and you're right. When the truth is, Christianity is a man-made religion, an institution designed by the devil. See, if you actually read the Bible and studied the Scriptures, you'll know that Christianity was never something that the Messiah introduced. It's nothing the disciples introduced. No one in the Old Testament were Christians. There was never no religion called Christianity being promoted, proclaimed, or preached by them, and people are still attending the Christian church. What has the Christian church done for the black community? Absolutely nothing. The majority of black communities have so-called Christian churches on every corner. But these communities are filled with crime. Why? Because the pastors are not concerned about the communities. These churches are businesses set up to take the money from the poor. If you're in a church and your pastor's telling you you need to tithe 10% of your income and you give that 10%, it's because you didn't read the Bible to learn what tithing is really about. Hell are the Levites. Remember, you don't know where the storehouse is because it's in the homeland. You don't even know who are the biblical Israelites because you hold so-called white Jewish people, you hold them as the children of Israel when really they're not. Those are Russian converts, Khazars. You understand? If you do your research, actually read a book and learned something, you would know those people have zero to do with the children of Israel according to the Bible. But are you going to take my word for it? No, because you're a Christian, and Christians are stupid. They don't think for themselves. They don't think outside the box. They only listen to what they benefit from the transatlantic slave trade. Till to this day, they are your enemies. And as Israelites, according to the scriptures, you have enemies, which are the other nations. That's biblically true. Just look at the condition of our people. Everything is against them. There are laws that are built and designed against our people. 3-strike law. You get caught with a bag of weed, whatever the case is, they ship you out to prisons. Black men are shipped to prisons every single day. Why? The prison industrial complex is designed to keep the men in prison, keep the fathers away from the children so that they're not protecting the women. And when the women are left alone to fend for themselves, the whole family unit is destroyed. And this is what's going on today. The majority of black men are in prison. It's all by design. It's another form of slavery. They get you to commit crimes because of your poverty. So if you're poor and you're hungry, what are you going to do? You got to eat. You're going to steal. They set up a law for that. Okay, we ship him out. He committed a crime. This is what's going on today. And it's gotten so bad that whether you're doing anything wrong or not, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time and there's cops around, they'll try to harass you and provoke you to make an arrest. So our people are oppressed daily by the system. You see? But yet you go to these churches and they're not doing nothing to solve these problems. The problem that you have as a so-called black man or black woman is that you are not following the Most High by keeping His laws, statutes, and commandments. That is where your problem is. Because in the Christian church, they don't teach you to follow the commandments. They tell you the commandments are done away with. If the commandments are done away with, go and commit adultery. You can lie, cheat, steal, rob, do whatever. It's all good, right? If the commandments are done away with, but you know good and well they're not. But these churches tell you there are. So it is what it is. You can do what you want to do. What's going on? Get mad so that think that I'm crazy. You can somehow make a decision to wake up. If you're a so-called black man, black woman, a brother, Spanish-speaking brother of Negroid Indian descent, and you don't know who you are in this day, let me tell you, you are a biblical Israelite according to the scriptures. You are the chosen people of that Bible that you don't read. And you're not going to get this knowledge in no public school because the public school is not designed to give you knowledge of your history. They're designed to feed you bullshit, talking about you're African American and the only history you know as a black man is that you were a slave. That is not your history. That was your punishment for not obeying the Most High. See? Everything they want to teach you about inventors, they only tell you about white inventors who actually stole all the inventions of black men. But you won't know this because you didn't read a book. You believe whatever they tell you. That's what the educational system is for. Not to teach you anything, it's to basically brainwash you. Because that's how our people lost their identity. We came to this land. We were driven all throughout the world to different cultures and different people. That's why we speak different languages. You see? You have Jamaicans, you have Trinidadians, this one and that one. They're all the same people, different tribes, according to the Bible. But you don't know this. We've been driven all over the world. That's why we have different ways of living. But we all learned it from our slave masters. If you're a so-called brother and you speak Spanish, you don't just speak Spanish because you're Spanish. The Spaniards conquered our people and took various tribes to their land and enslaved them. And while there, you learned their language. You were brainwashed. They erased your history. See? We lost our heritage, our lifestyles, the things we did, our customs, all erased from our memory. They beat it out of you. Killed your family, raped your women, raped your sons, everything. This is what they did. Is the Christian church teaching you this? No. Because they want to keep you asleep. As long as you sleep, you won't be a threat. You won't be a problem. But when you're somebody that have knowledge, you become a threat to one of the greatest conspiracies in this world, and that is to keep the children of Israel asleep and never wake them up so that they're no more of a people. And that's what's going on today. But your pastor's not going to teach you that because he get his check from the system. That's how he get paid. He's paid to keep you people blind. There is no Christian preacher that is teaching you the truth. He may give you a little truth here and there, but each truth he gives you have a drop of poison in it because it's not the full truth. The truth has to be 100%, not pieces or parts. So what are you going to do today? You want to continue going to them churches? They're not teaching you nothing. You got to do something. You got to make up your mind. So I'm going to sign out right
here. Wow. Prina, if you can just come in because before I play the other clip.
Yes.
Your thoughts on this?
That was very powerful. He hit it on the nose.
Yeah, the ending when he said that, even if you go to Christian churches, a little something, he may teach you a little bit of truth, but he's not going to teach you. You're still learning a lot because the truth that he's giving you got a little poison in it. And we know a little bit of leaven leavens the whole lump. Mm-hmm. And so they'll tell you, like I've heard of some churches say, well, my pastor told me we're the children of Israel, but he's still telling you the law done away with. So what's the point? When people say, I'm in the truth, and we have to be very careful of that I'm in the truth stuff, because a lot of our sisters, we fall for these brothers that say they in the truth, but then you're not watching how they live their life. Just because somebody know that they're a Hebrew Israelite, does not mean that they're in the truth.
Yeah.
Because our people, we good with we got the walk down pat, we got the dress, we got our heads wrapped up. Yeah. We look the part. Israel's always worried about the outward appearance. Oh, you got on pants. Oh, well, she look Hebrew, or she don't have on no makeup, or, all the stuff that doesn't matter.
Covered from her head to toe.
Yeah, we worried about who head covered the most and who's wrapped up the tightest. But just because you look the part, you got the outward appearance down pat, just because you know you're a Hebrew Israelite, does not mean that you're in the truth.
Yeah.
How they live their life. Mm-hmm. What are they doing when they log off of Facebook? When they're not in these Hebrew assemblies and congregations? Because there is fornication, like I said earlier, is a big thing amongst Israel. We have not turned away from fornicating. Well, I have, but the majority of Israel is still fornicating.
Yeah.
How we treat our brethren and how these men treat the sisters is deplorable. So being in the truth is not the fact that somebody know they're in Israel. Like, because people say all the time, oh, he in the truth? Oh, yeah, he in the truth. He know who we are. Okay, but he not living according to the word. He's not in the truth. But that was powerful, and I excuse the one profanity he used. Yeah. But this brother was on point.
Yeah.
Christianity, like he said, makes you stupid. I was laughing on some of the stuff but it was funny. But everything he said in there was true.
Yeah.
It was true. But our people learned these customs during the times we lived amongst the heathens and the other nations. And even while we were banished then, and even in our various captivities until our last captivity, now over here in America and the other places that they're scattered, the Most High still commanded us to not learn the ways of the heathen. He said, don't learn their ways. So if you can quickly go to Deuteronomy chapter 12, Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 30 and 31 says, take heed to thyself, that you be not snared by following them, after they have been destroyed from before you, and that you not inquire after their gods, saying, I wonder how these nations serve their gods. Even so will I likewise do. Y'all say in Deuteronomy 12 and verse 31, he says, you shall not do so to the Most High your power. He says, because every abomination to the Most High which he hates, he says they have done to their gods. So that's why he said, don't learn the ways of the heathen. Because he hates everything that is about them. The ways of the heathen is idolatry, fornication, adultery, covetousness. They sacrifice their children in the fire, literally. We're doing that now spiritually. And child sacrifice is still going on. It's going to be going on the 31st, heavily, by Satanists. Because he requires a sacrifice when you serve him. What do you think all these celebrities are doing when they're so-called cousins and uncles and children and mothers and stuff, just all of a sudden something happened to them? Hey, he requires a sacrifice. They made an agreement. They made a covenant with death. They made an agreement. They sold their soul. So we see all these customs we have learned. All these customs we have learned, they're an abomination to our Father. He says, I hate them. So just as the prophets tried to warn our people back then to turn from idolatry and they wouldn't listen, as we are, Prina and I, and so many of my brethren who come before our people constantly continue to do, we're still not listening. This is why our Messiah said in Mark 7:7-9, he says, howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandments of Yah, he says, you hold to the traditions of men. And he says, you full well reject the commandments of Yah, that you can keep your own traditions. Yahshua say you lay aside the commandments of Yah so that you can hold on to your traditions. You lay aside the law. You cast the law of Yah behind your back. Say it's done away with. That's what it means when you cast the law behind your back, you're casting Yah behind your back. He says you lay aside the commandment of Yah. You cast it to your back so that you can hold on to the tradition of men. So that you can hold on to Christmas, so that you can hold on to Easter, so you can hold on to celebrating birthdays, so you can hold on to celebrating Halloween and Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, New Year's Day, and every last other day. That's not in the Bible. You cast aside the commandments of Yah. You throw it behind your back so you don't have to see it. It's done away with. That's what your pastor says, and that's what you believe. So that you can keep all these wicked, pagan, heathenistic holidays that Yah himself told you not to learn. And not only not to learn, but to do not follow behind them, because he hates all the things that they have done to their gods. So that you can hold on to your traditions that grandma and great-grandma and the rest of them passed down that had nothing to do with him. You cast the law of Yah behind your back. Yahshua said, good and well, you reject the law so that you can keep your own tradition. And sadly, people will see these things. I go so hard on Christmas, Easter, Halloween, all this, and Christians will see it and they will act like they haven't seen it at all, and they will still post pictures of their children's birthday parties, still post pictures of Christmas, Easter. Like your grandson told his father, Prina, you don't know Yah.
Yeah.
Stop saying you know him, and you don't. If you still celebrating birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Mother's Day, Father's Day, New Year's Eve, you still eating shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster, you still keeping Sunday church and forsaking the Sabbath, you don't know him. I don't care what you say. He says, if you say you know me and keep not my commandments, he says you are a liar and the truth is not in you. So we stand here before you today calling you a liar if you're still doing any of these things. You don't know him. You're still ignorant if you're still in Christianity. And we don't mean that in an insulting way, but it's the truth. That means you just don't know. They're quick to say, oh, I know God. No. But the question is, he's going to be telling you, I don't know you when you stand before him on the day of judgment. You may be saying you know him, but he's going to be saying, depart from me. I never knew you. You knew Caesar Borgia. You didn't know me. Jeremiah 7, verses 26 through 28, testifies against the children of Israel as it reads. Jeremiah 7, verse 26, it says, yes, they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their necks. That means you being hard-headed, you being stiff-necked. He said they did worse than their fathers. Therefore thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to thee, meaning they not going to listen. You're gonna get them all this nonsense. It's going to be some Christians that's going to be, that the title is going to catch them. They're going to listen to it just like they may have listened to the other shows we've done. They may look at your post if you post on Facebook, however you get the truth out. They're going to look at it, they're going to read it, and then they're going to cast it behind their back, and they're going to go buy that Halloween costume and celebrate Halloween, and then they're going to be on Sunday shaking the tambourine, passing out down the aisle. That's what they're going to be doing. But he says, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Most High their power, nor receiveth correction. Our people won't receive correction. They don't want to hear it. They're going to say, you can't judge me. That's what they're going to tell you. When you bring the truth to them, they're going to say, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. Oh, yeah, he's going to judge you. And you're going to wish you were still listening to the Sword of the Spirit audio broadcast, because when he judge you, he's going to open up the door to the lake that you're getting ready to go in when he tell you depart. He says truth is perished and is cut off from their mouth. They don't know truth, but they think they do. This is our people all day. No matter what you tell them about celebrating Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, birthdays, Sunday worship, no matter what you tell them about this and why it's biblically and scripturally wrong, or sin to eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, catfish, they're going to still refuse to listen. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen. But we're getting ready to listen to the second powerful clip. It's short, but it's straight to the point. And I was like, wow, when I read this, I had not thought about this. This is a good way to explain Yah's truth and what is really truth and what stands as truth. As it pertains to truth, past, present, and future. Because we know our people are good for saying something, that Yah has once said was evil. Now they saying, oh, it's okay. Or, it used to be evil, but, because Jesus died, it's okay. But we know that truth is absolute, and we know it doesn't change. So how do you know truth is truth? Let's listen to this brief audio clip, and then we're going to come back and wrap up.
Peace, Israel. I wanted to sign on real quick and do a short piece on the word truth and its importance. But before we actually deal with the word truth, we normally start our lessons with the definition of truth according to the Most High anyway, in the book of remembrance, and that is Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So, with that said, this piece is on truth. So we know good and well the law is truth, and the law is righteousness. We also know that the law is forever. You should be able to see the parallel between the law and the Most High. The Most High, he is forever. The Most High speaks truth and upright, and he's upright. And the Most High is righteous. Hence, the law is a direct representation of him. One thing about truth, okay? Truth is the one thing in the earth that can occupy the three spaces of time. I feel that's important, and you may not have given this any thought. But truth can occupy the three spaces of time simultaneously and not be changed one iota. An example of that would be the past, the present, and the future. Truth can occupy these three spaces and not be changed. Now, what's amazing about that is that the Most High Yah, He too occupies those three spaces, and He does not change and has not changed. So the reality of the matter is, as we focus on the word truth, truth is righteousness. But righteousness is also of the Most High. Truth is forever. It doesn't change. You cannot change your truth. You change truth, then you have the possession of a lie. Now, occupying those three spaces of time. Here's an example of that. Truth is recorded within the earth. Truth has always been here. Why? Because the Most High has always been here. Truth lasts forever. Why? Because the Most High lasts forever. So there's a reason why He hates liars. Because to lie would be walking contrary to who He is and what He's about. Now, if, let's say, I killed a man, say 2 weeks ago, and investigators asked me, did I kill such and such? Now, the Most High and the earth as a whole has already recorded that I've done this act, even if no one saw it. The truth is, I've already done it, and the earth has recorded it, and so has the Most High. So that's the past, if I did this thing 2 weeks ago, okay? So now, here I am 2 weeks later, from the past in the present, I'm asked the same question. The investigator would ask me, did you kill such and such 2 weeks ago? Now, in order for me to tell a lie, it has to be fabricated. It has to be created. It has to be new. It has to be something that's not of the past. So, had I not done this, had I not killed the individual, 2 weeks ago it's recorded that I didn't kill him. This is already established. So when the investigator asked me, did I kill him, I can tell him plainly, no, I did not. So that truth is established in the past that I didn't do it. It is established in the future that I didn't do it. And should they continue the investigation, if the investigation completes or is completed in 6 months, then I will be vindicated that, yes, he didn't do it. So that will be the three spaces of time where the truth will stand firm. However, in the case of a lie cannot occupy those three spaces at the same time. A lie must be created. It must be fabricated. And I find that to be amazing because the Most High said clearly, before Him there was no God formed, neither shall there be after Him. So we know He is truth and He is righteousness and He is forever. So therefore, when He says this, if it is true, it cannot be changed. It's going to occupy the space of time in all three facets, in the past, in the present, and in the future. And anyone that's going to speak contrary to what He has said is going to have to create something. Just like if I killed that man 2 weeks ago, if I did do it and you asked me today, did I do it? And I want to lie, I have to create that lie today. It has to be created on the spot. It has to be fabricated. It is completely new. It is new to what really did took place. And hence that makes it a lie. So when the Most High says clearly there was no God formed after Him and there was none before Him, that speaks to his truth. So anyone that's speaking contrary to that, what they had to do, they had to fabricate that. It had to be created for someone to come up with a new God, because his truth has been recorded from the beginning of time. Okay, the Most High has always been here. He is encompassing of both truth and righteousness. So truth is not new, righteousness is not new. It has always been. So whatever truth there is, that truth has always existed. If I didn't kill that man, that truth has already existed. It already has. Okay? So anything contrary to the truth has to be an addition. It has to be created. It has to be fabricated. And what that fabrication will be, it will be something that is contrary to what took place in the past. Because a lie cannot occupy those three spaces in time within the earth. And that's why it's so important when you hear me start with these lessons, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. The truth is the Most High's law. The Most High is righteousness, and he is truth. Truth does not change at all. Truth is established in the earth from the beginning because he is truth. Truth cannot be fabricated. It already is. And that's why there can be no God before him or after him, because he has already been here. And he is the truth. And anything other than the truth has to be fabricated, because only the truth can occupy three spaces of time within the earth, both present, past, and future. And that is why the Most High Yah, the Creator, the only Savior of the house of Israel, can occupy those three spaces simultaneously. And that is why he makes clear to us that he does not change in Malachi 3:6. He cannot change if he is truth, because truth cannot change. Truth will, and I say again, truth will occupy those three spaces of time within the earth. It is the only thing that can do this. And therefore, the Most High, once again, has established the fact that his counsel shall stand. And the only counsel that's going to stand is the truth. The only counsel that shall stand is righteousness. And that is his law. Peace, Israel.
All right. Prina?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
What did you get from this? When I heard this, because I never really looked at his truth this ways, and I was just taking a couple of notes while he was talking, and just far as truth. And I'm like, you know what, he's right. Truth occupies the three spaces of time. Past, present, and the future. It doesn't change. That's the only thing it can occupy all three spaces simultaneously and not change. So when he said in order to tell a lie, you have to fabricate it, but it's something, when you are fabricating it in the present, it's something that did not happen in the past. And so I thought this was powerful, because this is a powerful way to explain the truth, that if Yah is truth and he is his word, and like he said, that's why he said, I change not. Who he was in the past is who he is now, and it is who he will be in the future and forevermore. So when people stand up and say, well, Yah changed his mind, this is kind of goes back to Balaam. Thinking and what they teach in the Christian church is that what he once said, about his law is no longer necessary. we no longer have to keep it anymore. Oh, well, that was at that time. Now it's, you know, he sent his son to do away with. So he's going to send his son to do away with his truth and who he is, because that's a very representation of who Yah is.
Yeah.
And like a lie, even though you might be able to get away with it, a lie here in this present time, but in the future, you're not going to be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Because we all are going to reap what we sow. And so, like I say this all the time, people think because they haven't gotten struck by lightning, struck down by lightning on the spot, that they think they're getting away with something. And people say, oh, well, that person got cut, you know, they got away with killing someone. Like all the things that have happened to our brethren, the murders, all their blood has cried to the ground to Yah. Do not think that all our brethren who have been killed in the street, all of this is a result of our punishment and a result of us turning our back and casting the law of Yah behind us. But he said he is going to punish that nation.
Yeah.
That's done all of this. So he is going to repay. He is going to repay recompense, he says, to those who have troubled us. All the trouble and affliction. He is going to repay. So they may have gotten off with the wicked judges here. You know, how they try to pervert judgment and destroy evidence, and so that they can change the decision. You know, they pay off judges and all this stuff goes on.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be able to get away with this when they stand before the judge. Like the gentleman said in the audio clip.
Yeah,
the truth of what you've done is already been recorded in the past. So you can lie in the present, but when you get to that future, your truth does not stand and occupy all three spaces of time, because he knows all, he sees all. Anything that you get from it?
No, I mean just the same thing that you know you had got, like when he was using, you know, the occupying of space and present, you know, past and future. I mean, I thought that was just a good analogy to see, you know, that Yah's truth, you know, is everlasting and is not going to waver, is not going to change, you know, and anything that does change is a lie. You have, like you said, you got to create it. It has to be created.
Yeah. A lie is the only thing that does change, because the truth doesn't change.
And it can't occupy those spaces, you know, and so I think that was very relevant, you know, and powerful, and I haven't heard it or looked at it in that sense, but he made it quite clear, you know, and I really I enjoyed that. And what was his name?
You know what? That's the thing. He doesn't have his name up there, so I just have to, you know, send it to you. Or whatever, but he doesn't have his name up there, so I don't know what his name is. You know me, I do research and I find things, and then I just convert it to audio to use for. So I have to find it, and then I'll give it to you.
Okay.
But we know, you can stay in because we're at the end here, but we know that all holidays are evil, you know, and so what was once evil in the past is still evil now, and it will be evil to him in the future. You know, birthday celebrations and celebrating holidays have never been righteous or set apart, you know, to the Most High. He does not recognize any of these pagan holidays that you all want to continue to celebrate. He doesn't honor them, and he say he hates them. Okay, Yah does not give a rat's tail about Halloween, Christmas, and Easter, and he is nowhere sitting up there losing no sleep talking about y'all not giving me the reason for the season. He don't want it.
Yeah.
These are wicked. Everything that has to do with it breaks so many commandments. Okay? And the very first one is honoring another God.
Yeah.
You can't be in covenant with two people. That's like you being a polygamist. You're going to be married to Yah and somebody else.
Right.
You can't make a covenant with him and be in a covenant relationship with somebody else. That's what you're doing. He's not going to bless you for celebrating Christmas and Easter.
Yeah.
Pagans and heathens are the reason for the season, not Yahshua.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you are celebrating holidays and birthdays, these days are set apart to Satan and demons. They're not set apart to Yah. Yah has nothing to do with them. Yahshua has nothing to do with them. That's why you didn't see any servant of Yah, the prophets, the apostles, no true servant of Yah in the Bible celebrating any of these days. You see in the scriptures where he tell you not to celebrate them, Easter and Christmas.
Yeah.
He said to stay away from all appearances of evil. Even if you was blind to the other holidays, Christians, you should have enough sense to know Halloween is wrong.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of read some of the things that I did on a note about Halloween is blatant. Halloween is blatant hypocrisy. That's why I said, what evil has taken root in you? You want to sit around and tell me some hallelujah night. I heard some people, co-workers, we have a hallelujah night. How you going to take a wicked holiday and try to put your name in it and then think that it's going to be okay? It's the same as Halloween. That's why I said stop trying to change wickedness into a righteous celebration when it's not. And the biggest clue of all should be if you have to change the name, then that means that you are aware of the fact that there is something wrong with it to begin with. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just leave it as Halloween? You're changing it because you know that it's wicked. The scripture
like
says,
the man said, if you got to fabricate it.
Hey. Okay? Doors of the church is open after that one, okay?
Fabricating it, okay?
Yes, if you have to fabricate it. But no lie is of the truth.
Yeah.
And he says darkness and light does not mix. So you can't justify Halloween and make it right and say it's okay to celebrate in your church because you decide to change the name. Just like I said on a note I put up this morning. An apple does not become an orange just because you tried to change the name and say this is an orange. It's still an apple. They try to change the name and call it Hallelujah Night, but they still doing the same wicked acts. They still doing the trick-or-treat. They doing all the games. The kids still coming in their wicked costumes. It's instead of just letting it go. If there's something wrong with it, let it go.
Yeah.
Instead of the leaders telling their congregation the truth about Halloween, they want to do, like what I said, always what they do, they want to compromise so they can appease the people. That's what they want to do. This is what being a pagan is. Okay, when you compromise.
Yeah.
If you and your church are going to have a Halloween celebration, and I don't care if you change the name, even if you're trying to call it Harvest, if you're doing it on the 31st, you are trying to appease the people, you're still being a pagan. It makes you a pagan. It makes you a heathen. Instead of you stand away from all appearances of evil, like he told you, you want to continue celebrating it. Yeah. And you want to hold on to it. You rather disappoint Yah than to disappoint your children. You rather pass your children through the fire instead of training them up in the way that they should go. Some of you don't even care or consider how you grieve Yah when he looked down on his people. The people that made the covenant, that said all that Yah has said we will do. And he looked down and see us doing all the abominable things that we can imagine to all of these gods. And I think we should be ashamed of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because our people go out of their way to hold on to the things of this world. But they refuse to keep Yah's Sabbath day. They refuse to keep any of his feast days. These things that they good and well know is in the Bible, but they'll hold on to all this wicked stuff and then turn around and say, I know God. It's time for Israel to return. It is time for you to wake up, stop serving all these gods, stop whoring, because our Messiah is getting ready to crack the sky. He's getting ready to crack the sky. He's tired. I know he is, because I'm tired. I'm tired of looking at it myself. It's grievous for me.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers gonna try to put the one I share room gonna try to put a Halloween bobblehead on my side of the desk. I said, if you don't get that off my desk, I said it's gonna be in the trash, and I really mean it. Don't play with me. Don't put no idolatrous stuff. The kids wanted to come in and they were doing that Baphomet dance.
Yeah.
What do you call that? What's that dance? The nay-nay or whatever?
Nay-nay.
Yeah, and I said, you don't do that Baphomet dance in here, and somebody start laughing. Don't bring none of your guys. One of them had some Halloween necklace on. I said, you got to take that off your neck. You got to go put that in your locker. It's nothing. It's just a necklace. I'm not going to play with it. I said, you can't bring no other guys in here. I don't want it in my space. Yeah. No matter where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't leave because I go to work. He's with me wherever I go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like it's time for you to return. Even our people don't understand. They don't know. They think everything they're doing is okay. It's nothing wrong with it. Even the Messiah, he told the woman, you don't know what you're worshiping.
Yeah.
When she talking about our fathers worship on this mountain, nothing happened to them. That's why he said, woman, you don't know what you're worshiping. So-called African American, you don't know what you're worshiping. That's your problem. You won't return back to these law, statutes, and covenant. If you want Yah to hear you, then and you want him to answer you, then 2 Chronicles 7 says, and 14 says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves, pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sin and will heal their land. But he said, I'm not going to do it until you do that. He's not. That's why it says my people.
Yeah.
Who is he talking about when he says my people perish for lack of knowledge in Hosea 4 and 6? Y'all's people are the children of Israel. You so-called African American, the same ones he made the covenant with. So when you read 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, what I just read, if my people will call by my name, don't be confused as to who he is calling back.
Yeah.
His call is not to religion or Christianity. His call is not to Hollywood, Washington, the media, but he is talking to the children of Israel. You, those who join themselves to Israel, those who decide to take hold to his covenant. When he's talking about my people, it's only one nation of people that he called his inheritance. The power of Yah is not in these churches because they're not in the truth. That's why his power is not in these churches.
Mm-hmm.
You looking at the Holy Ghost spirit. You ain't looking at Yah set apart spirit. That's a different spirit that's operating in the church, slaying people and knocking people out. Mm-hmm. I ain't never wanted no pastor to lay no hands on me. His truth, the law, the Torah, has vanished from their congregations. It's not there. Why? Because they cast his law behind his back. They cast him behind. They don't want nothing to do with it. They teach and preach of a different God and a Messiah.
Yeah.
In these Christian churches. There's a lack of desire to pursue him. Our people are not running and pursuing after Yah because they're too lazy. They rather pursue after the things that are in the world. We run after everything. We get hype and we get excited after all the things that are not important. We running behind Kim Kardashian and wondering what's going on with her. Or wondering what's going on with all the latest celebrities. Mm-hmm. And who is getting married and who pregnant with who baby and who's sleeping with who. All the stuff that don't matter. Our people are worried about all the things that don't matter. But again, they teach and preach a different God and Messiah. There's a lack of a desire from our people to truly pursue him as is. As the scriptures speak of him. Like Prina said earlier, is he not enough? Is it not enough what the scriptures speak? Is that not enough? And unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. People like the idea of Yah, but they don't like the reality of who he really is. It's not who Yah really is not appealing to most of them because they can't chase after other gods. They can't chase after other gods if they're gonna serve Yah.
Yeah.
They're appealing. The other gods are more appealing. The other heathen gods are more appealing.
Yeah.
Because they don't have nothing. There's no requirement on their part. They don't have to change. The other heathen gods allow them to live and do what they want. They can go. They don't got to do nothing but come to the weekly church services and give your tithes, of course.
Oh yeah.
Can't miss that. They're gonna be calling you up if you miss that. But then they bless.
Yeah. And highly favored.
And highly favored. But you serve a God that you know not. And if you do not repent, we are pleading with you
to
turn back to the God, did you say the power, the one of the Almighty One of the Scriptures? That's who we were serving before we came here on those slave ships, and they know it. That's why they told you not to read the Bible. Psalms 83 talks about the covenant that all the other heathen nations that Yah told you not to learn from and not to follow after, they all got together on one consent and said, let us come and make sure that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Let's wipe them out. And if you don't repent, hell and the lake of fire is in your very near future.
Yeah.
I don't know how many ways to say it. Sometimes we have to come at you like this. It's not going to be no cookie cutter, roses, flowers, and skipping through the tulips type of show. This is not what Yah has called us to do.
And, you know, I just want to just say something. You know how we always want, to be acknowledged and to be on top. Well, you can be. If you turn back to the laws and the statutes and commandments of Yah, we are of a royal priesthood.
Yes.
I don't know how to put that. Like, do you want your royal priesthood to go in the lake,
yes.
For the lake. I mean, if you
the reward is deep. I'm saying, if you have any questions or comments about today's show, if you want to make a comment, a question, press *6 on your phone right now. You can do so. I'm sorry, sis. I just wanted to.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
Okay.
It just we holler about being on top, and they really don't realize that we can be on top. And we will be on top again. That's the promise. But you so worried about serving your pagan gods and don't realize that Satan just masquerading, under these pagan gods, leading you to the lake of fire. He came to deceive the whole world. And you are being hoodwinked out of your royal inheritance, because when in the end, when Yahshua say, depart from me, you never knew you, you going to see what you had stored up.
Oh, He's going to allow you to see, and that's when you're going to be weeping. It's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because it's going to be too late to repent, and it's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. And I was talking to my husband, telling him that last night. We were just talking, like, people don't realize it's getting real. Once you die, you go to judgment then. You're going to know before if you're going to be in a lake of fire during that time when He shows you. Okay? You're going to know at that time. So either you're going to be resting in Abraham's bosom, comfortably resting in peace, or you're going to be tortured by demons until that time. But where do you think Hollywood get all of these things that they put in the movies, like Fallen, with the transferences of unclean spirits? Where do you think that main demon that Denzel was trying to hunt and kill, Azazel, where do you think they got that from? Azazel was a main demon that was one of the fallen angels, one of the angels that sinned in Enoch. Okay? He knew better. They're locked up in chains in the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Where do you think that what was that movie? I was just talking about the other movie. With Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, Ghost.
Ghost, yeah.
What do you think about the one that happened to the man who actually killed his wife? And when he died, the demons came to get him to drag him off. Where do you think that come from? Because that's what's going to happen if you're not saved at the time. That you have to endure to the end. So if you have to hold on, you have to prove your faithfulness. So like I always put, when the Messiah returns, is He going to find you faithful, or is He going to find you compromising, committing adultery with the world, celebrate Easter, Christmas, Halloween, birthdays, eating shrimp, crab, lobster? What is He going to find you doing?
Yeah.
Is He going to find you with the law casted behind your back, fornicating, talking about sex is marriage? What is He going to find you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying as much as we can to get you all, and sometimes we have to do it in a way that's going to make, like, okay, we got to make an impact. Sometimes it has to be said in a way because our people are hard-headed.
Yeah.
Come out of your stupidity. Some of the things that's going on now, we too late in the game for some of you still to be falling for the banana in the tailpipe. You can only fall for that so many times. But Satan ain't using no new tricks. He's using the same tricks and you all fall for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Week after week, with Pastor Porkchop standing up there telling you the same stupid stuff, talking about love 20 years ago, and you still haven't grown, and you wonder why you don't know no word. Still on milk, and you're a grown adult, still drinking milk. You're going to be held responsible. You're not going to be able to use that excuse because he's expecting you to grow. You can't keep using the same excuse. At some point, he's going to have to see that you're putting in effort to seek him.
Yeah.
He says, prepare your heart to seek the Torah of Yah. You have to prepare your heart. To prepare means to do something about it, not sit there like a lump on a log and then think you're going to use that excuse when you stand before him on Judgment Day, because he's going to say what? Depart from me, I never knew you. If you're being lukewarm, he is going to spew you out his mouth because it doesn't sit well that you are not doing anything for the kingdom. We spend all our time doing everything for the world, but then when it comes to Yah's thing, we think we can start slacking off.
Yeah.
We can't. Mm-hmm. If we're not doing that, we got to get better, and we better get better at it soon, because you don't know what he's going to be looking at lukewarm. Or you're going to be standing like the gentleman who I prayed a few weeks ago, and he was like, you could have done better. I don't want to hear I could have done better.
Yeah.
I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any questions. You have anything, last words you want to say before you lead us out with prayer?
I really enjoy today's lesson, and I just pleading with our Israelite brothers and sisters, just stop blending in with the world and come out of her, my people, entirety, and be set apart. Mm-hmm. We are a set apart nation, and let's walk in all of our set apartness and give our honor where honor is due, and that's to the Most High Yah. Stop giving your honor to Satan.
Yeah, and everything that
he's going to lead you one place, because he already got his place there. He don't care about you.
No, he's trying to drag you with him.
Right. He's trying to get as many people. And just because you don't see him with pitchforks coming out, he has masqueraded in every facet, from music to books to entertainment to the holidays. He got this world on lock.
Education too.
Yes, education. Yes, churches, everything. He got it on lock. So you have to be wise. And just step out. Just come out of her. Just come out completely. Everything. Leave the world alone. Let the world worry about the world.
Yes, let the world bear their own. Let them worry about themselves. Yes. Let's be about our Father's business. That's what she's saying. It's time for us to be about our Father's business.
Yes.
And if you haven't been making an effort, if this message is to you, then, hey, let it be unto you. Don't get mad at us. Step it up.
Hey, repent.
Yes.
I examine myself all the time. I was sharing with you that I was crying before the Most High this week, because I do not want to take what he has given to me, open my eyes to let me see, in my ears, and gave me a heart of flesh, that I can receive his word, understand, to just hear him say, depart from me, I never knew you. It's even for me to do more, to study more. And put whatever is going on in this world, the worldly things, your job, whatever it is. Sometimes you just got to put that on the back burner, because at the end of the day, those things are not pivotal for you to get into the kingdom. Only your diligence and you studying to show yourself approved, and only your righteousness is going to be what's going to get you in the kingdom in the end.
Yeah, Yah's righteousness.
Yes.
Yep,
Yah's righteous. Thank you, sis. But to get you in, not you trying.
Don't try.
No, like you said, I tried. You didn't try.
Stop trying and do it. Like Nike said, just do it.
Do it. Yes.
He don't want to hear I tried, because I tried is gonna be in the lake too. That's all try lake over there.
Yes, sis.
Well, you can lead us out with prayer.
Yes. Okay. So I'm reading from 1 Chronicles 29, verses 10 through 13 and verse 18. And David blessed Yah before the eyes of all the congregation. And David said, Blessed are you, O Yah, the power of Israel, our Father forever and ever. To you, O Yah, be the greatness and the power and the high esteem and the victory and the majesty. For all in the heavens and the earth belongs to you. O Yah, yours is the kingdom, and you lift up yourself to all as head. And the riches and the honor come before you, and you rule over all. And in your hand is power and might, and it is in your hand to make great and to give strength to all. And now our power, we are giving thanks to you and giving praise to your high esteemed name. O Yah, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, our fathers, keep this forever for the intent of the thoughts of the heart of your people, and prepare their heart toward you. In Yeshua's name, so be it.
In Yeshua's name, so be it. So we want to thank you all once again for joining us on this set-apart day. We just absolutely enjoy and adore coming before you, and we want to thank everyone who is listening today, who stayed with us today, and we pray, y'all willing, we'll be back next week. Next week's show is going to be entitled, It's Not in the Bible Unless Yah Directs Me Another Way. We're going to be dealing with a lot of these catchy cliches. I call them catchy cliches. These are teachings and things that we thought were in the Bible when we were in Christianity, and we find out, well, I'm looking for the scripture, and I'm like, okay, where is this scripture? It's nowhere in here. We're going to deal with things that our people just want to continue to hold on that's not in the Bible. So next week's show is going to be a really good show. We're going to try to have a special guest for you. So we just thank you for joining us, and we pray that you enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. With that being said, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.